I've lived in Chicago my whole life, so I like to think I have decent street smarts. But this night, I made a mistake that almost cost me everything. It was around 2 a.m. My phone died literally seconds after I requested an Uber. I knew the car was a gray sedan, a Toyota or a Honda, I couldn't remember, and the driver's name was Michael. I stood on the curb, freezing, waiting for headlights. About 3 minutes later, a gray sedan pulled up. The window rolled down about an inch. The guy inside was wearing a baseball cap low over his eyes. "Uber for Ryan?" he asked. His voice was gravelly, flat. "Yeah, that's me," I said, opening the back door and sliding in. The car smelled terrible, like a mix of old fast food and something chemical, like bleach. I buckled up and leaned my head back, closing my eyes. "Heading to North Halstead, right?" I mumbled. He didn't answer. He just pulled away from the curb. We drove in silence for about 10 minutes. I was drifting off to sleep when the car hit a massive pothole, jolting me awake. I looked out the window to see where we were. My stomach dropped. We weren't heading north toward the city. We were in an industrial district, surrounded by abandoned warehouses and chain-link fences. "Hey, man," I said, sitting up. "You missed the turn a while back. This isn't the way to Halstead." He didn't speak. He didn't even look in the rearview mirror. His knuckles were white, gripping the steering wheel so tight his skin looked like plastic. "Sir," I said, louder this time, "stop the car. I think I'm going to be sick." That's when I heard it. A soft click, the sound of the central locking system engaging. My heart started hammering against my ribs. I grabbed the door handle. Locked. I tried the other side. Locked. "Let me out," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, though I was terrified. "I have my location shared with my brother. He knows where I am." It was a lie. My phone was dead. The driver finally spoke. He didn't look back. He just whispered, "No, he doesn't." He knew my phone was dead. He must have been watching me on the curb before he pulled up. We were slowing down, pulling into a dark alley between two derelict buildings. At the end of the alley, I saw another car parked with its headlights off. 2 men were standing outside it, smoking. They were waiting for us. Panic took over. I didn't scream, I reacted. I remembered a video I saw online. I braced my back against the passenger door and kicked the driver's seat with both legs as hard as I could. The impact slammed his chest into the steering wheel. The car swerved violently, crashing into a dumpster. The airbag didn't deploy, but the driver's head smashed against the side window. I didn't wait. I scrambled over the center console into the front seat while he was dazed, unlocked the doors, and bolted. I ran until my lungs burned, hiding in a 24-hour gas station until police arrived. When the cops found the car, the driver was gone, but they found something in the trunk: a roll of duct tape, zip ties, and a shovel. But the scariest part? When I finally charged my phone at the station, I had a notification from the Uber app. "Your driver, Michael, canceled the ride because you didn't show up." The man I got in with wasn't Michael, and he wasn't an Uber driver. I drive for Lyft on the weekends to make extra rent money. I usually don't mind the late-night crowd. Drunk people are annoying, but usually harmless. I picked up a fare at 3:15 a.m. from a quiet suburban neighborhood. The app said the passenger's name was Guest. That happens sometimes when someone orders a ride for a friend. The guy who got in was tall, wearing a heavy winter coat even though it was mid-July. He sat directly behind me, not on the passenger side, which always makes me uncomfortable. I couldn't see his face in the mirror, just the dark outline of his hood. "How's it going?" I asked, putting on my customer service voice. Nothing. Not even a grunt. "Heading to Blackwood Drive?" I confirmed. He just tapped the back of my seat twice with his knuckle. Tap, tap. Okay, the silent type. Fine by me. The drive was long. About 40 minutes into the rural outskirts of the town. The streets got narrower, the streetlights fewer. The silence in the car was heavy. It felt like the air pressure had dropped. I kept glancing in the rearview mirror, but he was perfectly still. He wasn't looking at his phone. He was just staring at the back of my neck. About 20 minutes in, I started smelling something, metallic, like old copper pennies or blood. It was faint at first, then overpowering. "Do you smell that?" I asked nervously, trying to break the tension. Again, tap, tap on the back of my seat. I was getting seriously creeped out. I sped up a little, just wanting to get this guy out of my car. We finally reached the destination. It wasn't a house. It was a dead-end dirt road next to a dense forest line. There were no lights, no driveway, just trees. "Here we are," I said, unlocking the doors. "Have a good night." He didn't move. 5 seconds passed, then 10. "Sir?" I turned around. He was looking down at his lap. Slowly, he looked up. His face was pale, sweating profusely, eyes wide and terrified. "Don't let him in," he whispered. "What?" I asked, confused. "I said, don't let him in." Suddenly, the back door on the passenger side, the side he wasn't sitting on, ripped open. I hadn't unlocked it. I swear I hadn't unlocked it. A hand reached in from the darkness outside, a dirty, calloused hand, and grabbed the passenger by his coat collar. The man in my car didn't scream. He just went limp, like he had accepted his fate, and was dragged violently out of the car into the tall grass. I slammed on the gas. I drove so fast I almost flipped the car on the dirt road. I didn't stop until I was under the bright lights of a police station. I told the officers everything. They sent a patrol car to the location. They found tire tracks and signs of a struggle in the mud, but no people. They did find one thing, though. Dropped in the grass where the man was dragged out was a phone. It was unlocked. The Uber app was open, but it wasn't a rider account. It was a driver account. The man in my back seat wasn't a passenger. He was another driver who had gone missing 2 days ago. I don't know who or what ordered the ride, and I don't know who dragged him out. I stopped driving that night, and I sold my car the next week.
You know how people say ignorance is bliss? I wish I had stayed ignorant. I'm a full-time rideshare driver in Seattle. Because of insurance scams, I installed a dual-lens dash cam. One lens faces the road, the other faces the interior of the car. It records audio and video. Last Tuesday, I had a pretty standard shift. My last ride was a guy named Elias. Picked him up from a bar downtown, drove him 20 minutes to an apartment complex. Elias was nice, a bit tipsy maybe, but polite. We talked about sports, the weather, normal stuff. He tipped me $5 on the app and left. A perfectly boring ride. The next morning, I was reviewing my footage. Not because of Elias, but because a bike messenger had clipped my mirror earlier in the day, and I wanted to save the clip for insurance. I fast-forwarded through the shift. I got to the end, the ride with Elias. I was about to skip it when something caught my eye on the interior camera feed. In the video, I'm driving, looking at the road, humming along to the radio. Elias is in the back seat, passenger side. At timestamp 11:42 p.m., while I'm stopped at a red light, Elias slowly reaches into his jacket pocket. His face changes. The polite smile is gone. He looks focused, cold. He pulls out a wire. It looks like a piano wire or a garrote with wooden handles on each end. My blood ran cold watching this on my laptop screen in my kitchen. In the video, Elias slowly wraps the wire around his hands. He leans forward,
inch by inch. I'm completely oblivious, bobbing my head to the music. He positions the wire just inches behind my headrest. He holds it there, hovering near my neck. His eyes are locked on the back of my head. He looks like a predator waiting to strike. For 4 minutes, 4 agonizing minutes of footage, he sits like that, just holding the wire, tensing his muscles, then relaxing them. At one point, I braked for a stop sign and his hands jerked forward, almost touching me. Then, I ask him a question in the video. "So, you catch the Seahawks game?" Elias instantly drops the wire back into his lap, hides it under his coat, and smiles. "Nah, man, I missed it." He didn't kill me because I made small talk. The video ends with him getting out, telling me to drive safe and walking away. I sent the footage to the police. They identified him. Turns out Elias was a fake name. He's a suspect in 2 other disappearances in the state. They haven't caught him yet. Every time I look in my rearview mirror now, I don't see the road. I see that wire, inches from my throat.